All right, this guest doesn't need too much of an introduction. She's one of the best players in her class, all-state, and she's a former state champion. Sydney Hendrix, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
So your team came off a state champion last year, and it was the first in school history. So just talk me through that whole process, and how did that really make you feel to overcome that hump? Because you had some really good teams that could have easily won it.
I would say it was definitely an accomplishment. We have worked so hard every year I've been here. It's always been the goal to win the state championship, not just all districts or like semis. We wanted to always win, but every year it's always been an obstacle. Freshman year we lost against Heartland, which is the team we had to beat to win the state championship. So that was definitely like a big accomplishment. And then my sophomore year, COVID happened. So that was like we basically got knocked out before we could even start. So it was definitely a thing where it was like, it's been much longed for because we've been wanting to win it. So we definitely put in all the work for it, and we definitely had the roster to get it done easily.
Mm-hmm. And so I know you mentioned roster, and when you have those great teams, a lot of times you have great seniors and great leadership. And this roster is much younger. Obviously, you lose 5 seniors. So how much have the coaches really been putting on you and Jay Devon as well to be leaders of this team?
I would say it's definitely been a push from them. From the end of last season, he was talking about how we would have to step up. He's still looking for more leadership, but we've definitely been showing some, especially because we're the only 2 seniors left. So it's a lot to carry because we had great seniors last year that helped us fill that leadership role. But he also expects the juniors and even the sophomores, they want us all to be leaders, but it's definitely more on us and the starters. So me, Summer and India Davis, Kendall Hendrix, Desi, so he wants it to come from all of us because we're all the captains this year. So it's definitely a lot, and I think we are filling into that role, but it's still going to take some more time.
So it's more of a leadership by committee instead of
exactly.
per one player, right? And I know you said Kendall Hendrix, that happens to be your sister, so not too many people get to play on varsity with a sibling. So talk about that. Is it like you can talk to her like any other teammate? Do you bring that stuff from home to the practice, or is it just your teammate for you?
Yeah, I would say me and Kendall, it's definitely a different relationship than obviously the rest of my teammates because of the close bond that we have as being sisters. But I definitely get to be on her more. I feel like I can yell at her more than I can yell at other people. I could be on her a little bit more, but it's all love. And I definitely, we get to talk about stuff outside of practice. So it's like we get to, I get to lead her in that way as well.
Mm-hmm. And so we talked about the team, so let's really talk about you. Last month, as a lot of people know, you committed to FAMU. Yeah. You had multiple other offers from Division I schools, but you chose to go to an HBCU. So talk about that importance of going to an HBCU like FAMU, a very historic one, and how much that played a factor in your decision.
I would say that the reason I chose FAMU is a lot of different factors that go into choosing a college, obviously. But I figured out later in my recruiting process what exactly I was looking for, and FAMU basically fit all those different factors. So I wanted to go to a HBCU because I think that it's so important to represent our culture in historically black colleges, and I feel like the move to that is not just prominently white schools. I feel like it's so crucial to get more players that want to invest in HBCUs, and so that was definitely a big factor for me. And I also want to experience every aspect of college that comes to being African American. So I would love to see the culture and also be able to play the sport that I love. So it was definitely came hand in hand, and FAMU has great education. That's the #1 public HBCU in the country right now. So that was definitely a factor because there's life after basketball that I'm trying to think of as well. And I also love the environment of their team and their school. So it was just a perfect fit.
Right. And I know that we're starting to see a lot more athletes, go to these HBCUs, whether you're talking about Dion with Jackson State, even though he left, his son. You have some other great hoopers go to schools like Howard. So that's always really good to know that we're funneling and we're helping these schools because they really do so much for the black community.
Exactly.
I know this is not really something you want to maybe think about right now, but, this is your 4th year. This is the last ride, per se. Really, what do you want to make this season about, and how do you want this team to be remembered?
I would say I feel like West Bloomfield is never going to have a team like we have right now and that we've had last year. I don't think we'll ever be able to touch the amount of talent that we've brought to the program and the amount of family. It's definitely a legacy that's going to be left here from our group, and that's honestly so special that I was a part of that. But I want to leave my last year just remembering like how together we played, because we had a journey of having to learn how to play together, because we've always had talent, but we needed to figure out the togetherness. And to see us come together this year more than last year, and even though we feel like we've lost half of our team, somehow we've came more together than we were before. And it's honestly just, it's amazing to see, because we have so much talent, and I want us to be remembered just as being a unit. Not like I want us to be remembered like we all are great, but we were a unit. That's why we were so good, that we all know how to give each other looks, and that we just learned to play fluently within each other. And that's what I want to be remembered by.
Really, for you, and I know you talked about the team, but I'm going to, again, center this about you. So with this being your last year, what do you want your legacy to be? And what does legacy mean to you?
I want my legacy to be that I just went hard. I want everybody to remember me as, oh yeah, she want to go get it. Like, she wants to be the best version of herself playing basketball. And I want to be remembered as just that person on the team that everybody could go to remember like basketball is fun to play. Because a lot of times I feel like high school players get so much pressure on them that they forget to have fun with it. And I always remembered to like just have a great time, but also stayed focused. So I want to be remembered in that way. I also want to be remembered as like, obviously I love to rebound, so I want to be remembered as a rebounder and like just a facilitator in different ways, not just scoring, but like just in general, just helping my team in any way possible.
So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it for sitting down with us. You can connect with Laker Update on our YouTube channel, and that'll do it for today's interview.